Hey, Catalyst crew. Welcome to Catalyst Corner, episode 102. I'm Evan.
I'm Jim.
And we got some stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about some superhero movies, some San Diego Comic-Con announcements, the Olympics, and we'll see if we get to anything else. But those are going to be our main topics today. How you doing, Jim?
Doing okay. It's hot as hell out there.
Oh, it's brutal.
Oh, massive heat wave going on here in the Northeast.
And I said when we got the studio going, I was like, we don't need air conditioning. What the fuck?
Yeah, thankfully, it's nice and cool in here.
I wanna cook you alive.
Yeah,
down in the studio.
And that would happen.
Let me tell you something that's going on with me.
Okay.
So on occasion, I go to thrift shops.
Sure, as do I.
Normally what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for books that I can kind of recycle into art. I'll draw something for art, and then I'm going to, put it on a page of a book. Because I really like the way that looks. It's cool.
Absolutely.
But every now and then, I'll look in the sneakers, because I'm a sneaker guy. I like a comfortable sneaker. And the problem with thrifting is, so I found this pair of Prada loafers.
Oh, okay.
They're the best shoes I've ever owned in my entire life. I paid $8 for them.
Oh, wow. How could you pass that
Right,
up?
but I've had them for like 3 years, and I travel with them when we go to the conventions. It's like the only thing I wear.
Okay.
And they're a great shoe. They're starting to get worn out a little bit.
Yeah.
So then I go online to look for the shoe because obviously I'm never going to find another pair thrifting, right? They're like $1,000.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it's just like, of course they're a nice shoe.
Yeah.
But
and
it's
of course they're that comfortable. I would hope for $1,000.
And I'm saying I guess I just am stuck with these or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. These better last until they fall apart on your foot.
It's like flying first class. You know what I mean? Once you do it, it's very hard to go back.
Right.
Yeah, so that's something I'm struggling with. Let me give you one more, though.
Sure.
So I'm minding my business, twiddling my thumbs, as you do.
As you do.
And get an email.
Okay.
From Bob Shaw. I don't know if you're familiar with Bob Shaw,
No.
Robert Shaw. He actually runs Wicked Comic Con.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, hey, are you coming? And I was like, I didn't think I made it in. He's like, do you want to come? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to come. So we're going.
Oh, wow.
Next week.
Next week. Oh, wow.
So... But just so you know.
Yeah. Interesting.
I just found out.
Oh.
So I'm scrambling, trying to get things going with that. And then, so I guess now our schedule looks like this. So we have Wicked Con next month. Next week. It's August. Yeah. So Wicked Con on the 10th.
Okay.
Then on September 23rd, I believe, we got Granite State.
Yep.
Big one. This year. They got lots of people coming. Very excited.
Sure do.
Fucking Wolverine's voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I caught that.
Everybody. And then in November, we got the one down in Boxborough, Northeast Comic-Con. So solid lineup. I thought we were missing out on Wicked, but apparently not.
Ah, that's cool.
Bob's not letting that happen.
I guess not.
So shout out to those guys. So we'll be in Boston.
Nice.
Not this coming weekend, next weekend, the 10th. What's going on? You got anything?
Yeah. So... couple things I caught.
Okay.
One we've already talked about, but I caught it for your recommendation. I caught Abigail.
What'd you think?
I liked it.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
Fun, right?
It was
not horror in its truest form. It was like a fun movie.
It was definitely a fun little ride.
Evil Dead-y kind of camp to a degree, hyper violence, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent.
Yeah, there were a few laughs in there. And a lot of practical effects, which is nice.
Yeah, and the girl does a great job.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. I hope we see more of her.
And the thing is, I said to my partner as we were watching, and I'm like, if you ever have you heard her speak regularly? She's got an accent. I don't know where she's from.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that might have been a little bit more creepy if she used her actual
own accent, right?
I thought that might have been even better.
But even still, she pulled the accent off.
Yeah, but she did a great job. So I definitely enjoyed that movie. I definitely think that's a solid watch. Then I was pulled to go to the movie theater, kicking and screaming.
Oh, my.
Because she wanted to go see Longlegs.
Oh, so you saw Longlegs?
Yeah.
I have not seen it yet.
Okay. So, and the only reason I went kicking and screaming, but
it's not a movie I would see in theater.
No. And nor did I want to.
Right.
But she really wanted to, and I'm like, well, it's got Nick Cage, right? So,
sure. And he's kind of off the rails.
So... let me put it to you this way.
Yeah.
Nick Cage is in it. I'm not going to spoil it or anything like that.
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Okay.
So this movie should be 10 minutes long.
Okay, so the parts he's in is good. Everything else is terrible.
Everything else, I wouldn't say terrible. I would
Slow.
say meh.
Okay.
I would say it's an hour and a half.
Well, just to be clear, it's not really a horror, right?
No.
It's more of a psychological,
right?
He's a killer.
Yeah,
they're hunting a killer.
There's some elements, but
I think it's weird that they marketed it as more of a horror.
Yeah, and it really, really wasn't.
Right, and I guess what kind of they were like, oh, it's kind of like Silence of the Lambs, and it's like, yeah, except you don't have a Hannibal Lecter,
right?
It's like if you watch Silence of the Lambs and there was no Buffalo Bill,
right?
Or no,
right.
I'm sorry, no Hannibal Lecter, and she was just chasing Buffalo Bill.
Right, sure. And the thing is, like I said, it's an hour and a half. It feels like 3 hours.
Oh, that's terrible.
So it just...
I mean, would you watch it at home?
I wouldn't watch it again.
No, of course, yeah.
But, watching it at home, yeah, I would give it a watch only because, like I said...
Would you give it like a 6?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
it wasn't terrible.
Just not your cup of tea.
Yeah, it just wasn't
It's
as
not worth
good
the
as
$18 movie
right.
ticket.
And
Okay.
and Nick Cage, as much as he, hammed it up for his parts, and it was awesome. He was 10 minutes. So in an hour and a half, you're getting 10 minutes of his craziness.
But the thing about Cage, and I forget if I've said this to you, no matter what he's in, he puts effort into it.
Oh yeah,
he's like
most definitely.
That's why I think he's stood the test of time. Because whether it's good or not, you can tell he's putting effort into it.
Yeah,
You get some of these fucking actors that just coast through a movie.
Yeah, he did not phone it in. He embraced the part.
Yeah.
And certainly gave.
And I mean,
full...
he looks weird as fuck.
Oh yeah, no, totally, he does. And so that was a saving grace of the movie.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not awful.
Yeah.
But it would have been better watching it at home, because then you would have been like, well, at least I didn't pay to go see this and sit through a movie, in a movie theater to have to see it. But again, it wasn't. It certainly was not something as good as people were making it out to be. It's not that. It's just mediocre at best.
Okay. That's disappointing, because it looked real good to me.
Yeah, unfortunately not. What about you? What did you catch?
I am a little busy having my faith in superheroes restored.
Oh, okay.
Restored. So I haven't seen this yet, and I finally was able to kind of binge through it. Peacemaker.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know if you've caught that yet.
I have not caught all of it, no.
It's great.
That's what I've heard.
It's great.
And the stuff I've seen is really good.
You know what it is? Is they don't shy, like, everything is on the table, right? Like, his father's a white supremacist, so they cover that shit. Like, he's using the F word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, they're making really funny jokes. They're teasing the lesbian character about being, she's flipping through a screen and you see her wife's vagina, and they're giving her shit about that. Like, funny stuff, right?
Yep.
John Cena's phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's just, I'm 100% on board with him.
Between the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, it gives me hope that James Gunn is going to really turn this around.
It really feels... It feels like you can definitely feel James Gunn, right? And you can feel the episodes he directs. You can because he does like maybe 4 out of 8 of them.
Yeah,
you can really feel James Gunn, and I just think it works so well. It's hyper violent. It's silly. It's basically Marvel, but again, kind of jacked up to 11,
right? Which
you never get with Marvel.
No.
So I caught that. If you haven't seen it, fucking watch it.
Yeah,
it's
I
great.
do have to finish
it's
watching
great. Very
it.
funny. And then I got a screener of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
Here's what I'll say about it.
Sure.
Overall, I liked it a lot.
Okay.
It didn't change my life. That being said, if Marvel were to trend in that direction, I think they would be able to reinvigorate franchises.
Right.
Because it really did. It wasn't perfect, It was a little long, for sure. But, again, it was funny. The back and forth between Deadpool and Wolverine was it was good. And you could tell that they cared because they pulled variants that you wouldn't expect to see, And, Cassandra Nova was whatever. I mean, she was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, not a super heavy plot or anything like that.
But here's my take on, and I have not seen it as of yet.
Sure.
But here's my take on it. From what I have gathered, and I try to avoid spoilers, although they're out there and it's very difficult to do so. It's very nostalgia bait heavy.
Sure, they do definitely hit you with nostalgia, and a lot of the cameos hit you in that sort of gut punch. But
so to me, this is going to do going forward what Spider-Man No Way Home, which is a lot of nostalgia bait as well, did going forward. Nothing.
Well, my hope is that, because now Feige's talking about making Blade an R-rated.
Yeah, but that's been the case all along.
Sure, but
since its inception, it was
right.
said
But then
that.
it wasn't. Right? Then he was like, well, we want to do a PG-13. I guess my hope is that he can at least look at this and see how well it's received and go, oh, maybe we should trend in this direction.
Yeah, they won't. Because Bob Iger doesn't want it trended in this direction, and Kevin Feige doesn't want it. The only thing that they're going to look at, they're going to say, yes, did it make over $1 billion? Sure,
it's the highest opening
right
R-rated.
But I said this on social media. This movie and Inside Out 2 are both going to go over both are over $1 billion.
Right.
They're going to use that to cover all the coming losses, just to almost break even and appease the shareholders to say, well, we didn't at least lose money. At worst, we broke even, maybe even turned a little bit of a profit. But the thing is, they're not going to because
was strange, though, like watching it, was it was almost like it picked up from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like if you just forgot about everything else, it's like, oh, they still got it. Because it was still exciting to see. It was cool to see Hugh Jackman in the yellow suit.
Right.
Like all of that shit landed.
But here's the problem. You've got in between now and let's say Blade, which I don't believe Blade is coming out in 2025 because they haven't even started principal photography yet.
I think Blade is not going to come out until they can actually get a vision. And honestly, if they choose not to make it R-rated, I don't think it's ever coming out.
No, but in between that, you have Agatha All Along,
which no one cares about.
Captain America 4, Brave New World,
which I think we're all good on.
You've got Thunderbolts, and you've got the Fantastic Four.
So I think Thunderbolts has an opportunity. I think if Thunderbolts is funny like Deadpool is, you can salvage that.
Maybe, but there's nothing. There's nothing from the trailer that came out in San Diego that suggests that that's the case.
I think Fantastic Four looks good.
I think Fantastic Four is going to be okay.
I mean, it has Galactus.
Right, but my point is, I don't think that anything coming out is going to get. Marvel is not going to have the phase 1 through 3 success. And again, I know there was a lot of failure. There was failures in that as well. Don't get me wrong.
I think at this point, the goal should be for them to start reigniting the fan base.
Sure.
So I think Deadpool gives you a spark, right? But I think I agree with you. I think they are wasting that opportunity because I don't think anything they're going to do in Captain America 4. I can't imagine anything they're going to do is going to be that exciting. I mean, it's Red Hulk, but yeah.
I just think that they should have really thought about what Deadpool and Wolverine was going to do,
right?
And then readjusted everything to fit that going forward.
That would have been the perfect way to go. I will say there is sort of a tease in Deadpool and Wolverine for Secret Wars.
Yeah, in Secret Wars, I mean, again, we've got,
Well, I mean, you can, to pivot into San Diego Comic-Con, you can clearly see what they're trying to do.
Sure, and I mean, but here's the thing, right? I mean,
they're banking again on RDJ.
Right, but here's my, and again, I said this on social media, and I'll repeat myself. You had the opportunity of a lifetime to make an actor's career.
Yeah.
With the Victor Von Doom role.
For sure.
And you chose to go with Robert Downey Jr., and I think it to me that was the biggest mistake that you've made.
Well, I think what they're planning on doing is telling a sort of bastardization version of infamous Iron Man.
Well, see, I understand that it's not going to be
it's
the
not going to be Victor Von Doom.
And
it's going to be Tony Stark variant.
This is Tony Stark, and eventually this is going to be
Iron Man again.
Right, leading to Secret War, which is going to reboot the universe, which is going to bring Iron Man back. Like, I get the premise of what they're going to do.
But that's all they can do.
But the problem is that Victor Von Doom now going forward is never going to be what it could have been. Because now, you have to live in the shadow of Robert Downey Jr.
I think the problem for them is they're going to... They introduce Galactus in Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. So, you know, your big bad is going to be Galactus. It's not going to be... Well, I guess maybe not, right? I guess it's going to be Doom?
Well, it will be for the Avengers movies for sure. But the problem is, even if you are going to introduce the actual Doctor Doom, you've taken all the spotlight off of it. That was your chance to make it so that somebody... This was a Tom Hiddleston type of career moment for somebody.
I don't think they were banking on... I just don't think they're banking on Fantastic Four that hard.
No, but
there's never been a good one.
No, but they're also banking on nostalgia.
But that's a classic Disney play. Like, the thing is, right, for these guys, moving to a new, more progressive, modern, whatever you want to call it, type of superhero doesn't work. We already knew this because we're comic book nerds.
Of course.
But, everybody has their own fucking narcissistic egos, and they were like, no, we'll finally be the ones that can do it.
Right. Feige thought he could,
Feige thought he
failed,
could, and he
even
failed.
more epically.
More epically.
Because of how much it costs to fail that hard.
So the thing is that, and again, it's a big company, right? It's hard to turn a ship.
Sure.
So the only thing they can go back to at this point that on paper is a win, and I think it will be a win. I think the nostalgia will win
but here's the problem. You can't, this was not met with universal praise. This RDJ, it's only about 50-50 as far as people that love it and people that hate it.
Well, they didn't give anybody anything either. They just touted them out, and they were like, oh, look, it's RDJ. And for people that aren't comic book nerds, like, as soon as I saw them, right, and then I saw the logos, I was like, oh, okay, so
but the people at Hall,
Tony Stark.
You can't go with people at Hall H because they're going to buy whatever Marvel sells them. You put
sure.
If you brought out a bag of shit, they would have cheered just as loudly.
I guess for me, especially with the timeline, right? Because I mean, we're talking about next year and the year after.
Yeah, 2026 is when this movie is coming out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is that Fantastic Four is next year, right?
Yep.
So you're going to get maybe you get a tease at the end of that.
Yeah, probably a tease.
And that's what I'm saying is that it's not like this is 5 years away and they have some time to kind of build up to this.
Right.
So my thought process is, okay, they always had an Avengers movie slated for 26, 27, right? Mm-hmm. And clearly this last phase of Marvel,
the last two phases,
right, has been trash.
Oh, terrible.
So what do you do? Because you can't in a year, right? Even if Fantastic Four is the best fucking Marvel movie you've ever put out, it's not enough. Mm-hmm. It's not enough to, get people on board with just the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Because we don't care about anybody else.
Right.
So my thoughts are, okay, you hit a home run with Deadpool and Wolverine, right? And my guess is that, I'm not saying I agree with this, but my guess is that this is not the last time we're seeing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
No, I highly doubt it.
Right.
Feige came out and said he's not rushing, somebody else to replace Jackman.
And they make a joke in it, and he's like, "You're going to be doing this till you're 90," and it's like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fine, whatever. If you can't figure it out, I would rather I'd rather him be running around than fucking nobody.
Well, I mean, again, if you want him to go to 2027,
right,
when Secret Wars, and then replace him after that, fine. I'm cool with that.
Okay, so here's my thought process on it. Because again, you don't have a ton of. You failed for 5 years, right? So it's not like tomorrow you can fix this, right?
No.
So the only way you can fix it is to do this. We hit a home run with Deadpool, right? I think the Fantastic Four movie will be, 6 or a 7, like well received enough. Mm-hmm. I think. From what I've seen, it looks like it's, very different, its own little... I like that it's kind of in that 60s kind of faux future sort of...
Yeah, and it's a different universe.
Right. So they'll probably suck them in.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Right, whatever it is. But I think that can work. And that's kind of it. I mean, there's not a lot more coming out until we're hitting...
But here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Secret War is going to happen, right? It's
going
to happen.
So if it's Victor Von Doom, but it's Tony Stark, right? Mm-hmm. Okay? And, then you can start... You got Thor, and he's got the history, and Hulk, and you can... I'm sure Chris Evans, he's kind of on the fence with everything.
Yeah, but the thing is, I hope that they're going to replace the actors. Like, I want... Captain America to be Steve Rogers, but it doesn't have to be Chris Evans.
Right.
I want Tony Stark back, but it doesn't have to be RDJ.
Well, I think at this point, right? Because again, they're trying. This to me is the right move to salvage the franchise.
Sure.
Because I don't think there's an easy. I think if they were able to do the Kang Dynasty and then have that lead into sort of the, Fantastic Four and then Doomsday and Secret Wars. Sure, you can have all new actors. You can have your own Victor Von Doom. But I think this is the right call for the current situation. Am I excited that we're not getting a true Von Doom? No, that sucks.
No,
but I understand from a time frame.
Sure, but here's my thing. If Secret Wars, if you're going to bring back everybody...
Right.
To replace them all, like this is the handoff that we should have gotten, but we didn't.
Right, but we're getting the Russo brothers back, right?
Yeah, and we're getting Marcus and McFeely,
right,
the writers
right.
too.
So my thought process is, and I've said this to you, I think Endgame was a very natural handoff point, and they dropped the ball with it. So what they're gonna do is they're going to, again. Everybody's feeling good about Marvel right now because Deadpool and Wolverine is killing, right? The TV shows are going to suck no matter what. No matter what you do, they're going to suck.
Sure.
But that's not that big of a deal. I can deal with that. If Fantastic Four, which I believe is the next, or is it Thunderbolt? I don't know which one's coming out first.
No, Captain America 4 is then Thunderbolts, then
so if
Fantastic
Captain America
4,
because people like Falcon, people are down with him. It is what it is. If the Hulk fights in that is solid, I think people will be okay. I don't think Captain America 4 is going to even touch the other 3 Captain Americas.
No.
But I think it can be... That's one of those ones, because Deadpool was so good, if it's mediocre, because I don't think it's going to be outright bad.
No, but you also have to remember it's going to need $1 billion to break even.
Right, but I'm talking... but here's the thing. It's more important... It's more important that if it's not a turd, I don't want to call it a turd. I think it's going to be mediocre.
Right.
But if you have that sandwich between 2 good films, that's fine.
Yeah, but I don't have any faith in Thunderbolts being a good film. I have zero faith that it's going to be a good film.
So my thought process was, I hope you have Thunderbolts right, because I think Fantastic Four will get people excited. If for no other reason that you're going to show Galactus and probably a Doom trailer.
But see that to me is it, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's like, well,
we saw the one picture.
Pedro Pascal's having his moment, right? So people like him, so that kind of works for them.
Yeah, we'll see.
And Sue is what? The girl from Peacemaker, right?
Well, we're gonna see if Pedro Pascal is gonna be in court that day when Gina Carano sues his ass and buries that asshole.
I know.
And I hope he gets buried.
But he's still having his moment.
Yeah,
though.
He's having his moment right now. But I hope it fucking comes crashing down and it's taken away.
Yeah, that's fine as long as it happens after Fantastic Four.
Well,
because
it's done anyway.
Again,
Fantastic Four is it's going to come out regardless.
But you need him to do all the
But here's
press
the thing:
you
saw the picture of Galactus coming out of San Diego
Comic-Con.
Comic
The video.
Right. So my thing is, people are going to go just to get a comic accurate Galactus.
Right.
Right. If for no other reason, so you can sell it on that because it really isn't going to matter the Fantastic Four, people are going to go to see a comic.
Galactus.
Just like people, not taking away from Hugh Jackman,
Right,
but how many people went to go see Hugh Jackman because he's dressed like Wolverine? That was a selling point. That was a giant selling point.
For sure.
If
and
you
I
put
agree.
him in the black leather from the Fox
no one
movies,
would have cared about that.
It wouldn't have even come
But
close
the
to
thing
making
is,
this money.
The thing is, right? Our biggest argument with a lot of this stuff has been disrespect of the source material.
Sure.
So if they're going at least like, you know, Galactus is going to look right, Doom is going to again. I don't want RDJ as Doom.
No, and I know he's not going to be the actual
right.
guy.
And that's the thing is that if you're asking me, am I happy with Robert Downey Jr. cast as Doom? No, never would I ever be happy, except for the fact that I can't. The thing is, I care about this stuff enough to go, oh, it's the right decision with the time that we have.
Right.
If we were 5 years out and they fucking did this, I'd say, are you out of your fucking mind?
But here's the thing: if you're gonna have Iron Man come back, because he's not gonna come back from the dead, it would certainly be
he's gonna be a variant,
right? But if that means if you're passing Iron Man Tony Stark to Iron Man Tony Stark as a different actor and not Iron Heart, I'm in. Captain America, Steve Rogers. If Chris Evans comes back and then passes the torch to somebody else being Captain America, Steve Rogers, I am in. I know that they're talking about recasting Black Panther. Because you made a mistake there too.
I think you have an opportunity right now, right? Because it seems like with RDJ, who was the core of Phase 1, 2, and 3.
Sure, absolutely.
You have an opportunity to actually end sort of our original heroes the right way now. Have them pass the torch in Secret Wars, right? And let's move on.
Right. But, you know, I'm good with every character that died comes back
as a variant.
It is a variant,
just a variant
that comes into this 616 universe, and now going forward, it's a different actor, but the character is the actual character, not the new
think
and
you can roll it
all
that way.
new, all different Marvel. The absolute failure now, both in comics and on the screen, have both failed.
I think as far as Ironheart goes, they have to just let that one rest.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that show out.
It just doesn't seem to have an audience.
It has zero audience
on paper or in.
So if you want to do that, if you want Robert Downey Jr. to come back to be the guy to redo the universe and then hand it off to
I think that's the goal.
Then to me, I'm down with that. That's
right.
the proper guy to do it.
And again, this is all speculation, right?
Sure.
Based on very few details that we've gotten.
Yeah, of course.
But as someone that does care about the MCU, you know, if that's the way they're going to go, then fine. I get it. You don't have enough time to build up Victor Von Doom. Like there's no movies coming out that could use him as a credible threat.
Right, but here's my problem, right?
Yeah.
So you do Secret Wars, like you're building
you're doing
up
Doomsday first,
right? Doomsday, and then the following year is going to be Secret Wars. You redo the universe, and the next movie out is Shang-Chi 2.
Well, is it though?
Well, I'm just saying. But they've greenlit it.
Right,
so,
but everything is on hold right now, as far as I'm under. I mean, the fact that we're getting
everything is.
Yeah, but who saw Doomsday coming?
Well, only because they changed the Kang Dynasty, because that was what was there, and once they fired Majors, they had to redo.
Yeah, and what a fucking asshole. He's heartbroken.
Right.
Well, don't beat on women, dude. You know?
But again, that was already in place. Like Avengers 5 was in place.
Right, but
you
I
just
guess,
revamped what you're going to do with it.
So,
but the show itself, the movie itself, was already scheduled to be there.
Right. But I guess my point to it is that you are changing significantly the story there.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
So by doing that, right? And again, there's gonna be turds. There's gonna be Shang-Chi 2 that like people aren't super excited about. But as long as it's wedged in between good shit, just like Phase 1, 2, and 3, an audience will be more forgiving. When you give them stinker after stinker after stinker.
Right, but what are you going to do with these movies that just are coming out before Secret Wars? Like, what are you going to do with the Captain America as Falcon?
Well, I think what you're going to do is you're going to,
Have both, like in the comics, which people hate?
No, I think you're going to try to have people get on board with Falcon America.
Yeah, but you want Secret Wars to reboot so that Steve Rogers comes back.
Sure, and maybe it can be as simple as if Steve Rogers comes back, he gives him the shield.
Yeah, sure. You could certainly
you know what I mean?
do
like, it
that.
doesn't have to be that deep.
No, but then everybody takes a step back, right? Because you've already replaced Falcon. He gave his mantle to someone else.
Right.
Right? So what are you going to say? I'm going to go back to Falcon and you fuck off?
Well, they might just, his contract could be up and then that's it. But
yeah, no, they could get rid of him entirely.
Here's the thing. I don't think Marvel is banking on Captain America 4 as a Captain America movie. They want Red Hulk.
Sure, I get that. But again, you've done so poorly with the Hulk to date. What makes you think that that's going to matter other than here's Red Hulk?
Yeah, and he's going to smash shit, which is what you want Hulk to do.
Sure.
So at least they're using Hulk in the proper, guys.
Yeah, he's going to be right. I mean, and there's the difference.
And it's not Mark Ruffalo, which helps tremendously.
Right. And the big difference, obviously, between Red Hulk and the Hulk is, he's still Thunderbolt Ross, just as Red Hulk. Like he's got the same brain capacity.
Right.
You know what I mean? He can turn it on and off, just like She-Hulk. He could turn it on and off and still has the same mental capacity.
Right.
He doesn't become a rage monster.
No,
so.
But he's still going to smash it.
Right, but he's
going to
get but he's more angry than Hulk, just natural. He's going to smash shit.
So that's what I'm saying is like, yes, I'm not excited for Captain America because I'm interested to see where, Falcon America goes. I'm interested to see how much shit Red Hulk can smash.
But there again, right? And this is what we're talking about. Fantastic Four looks cool because Galactus. Well, Captain America 4 looks cool because of Red Hulk.
I think I have more faith in Fantastic Four than you do because it seems like that's going to be the bridge into Doomsday.
Well, I'll tell you why I have very little faith in it.
Sure.
Because
did you see the trailer?
Yeah, but unless it's been changed,
yeah,
right. The movie, as was said, was it's a Sue-centric movie where she's the lead. And Reed Richards is a piece of shit who's the patriarchy, and she's taking down the patriarchy.
Yeah, I think
that's what the premise of the movie was set.
If that's what they do with it, it's going to tank.
Right, and so that's my fear, is that I've never heard anybody say that, nope, that it's changed off of that.
I mean, that wasn't the vibe I got from...
Well, yeah, but how many times have we got... we've seen these trailers and it has nothing to be the same.
I'm going to disagree with you there because usually in these fucking trailers, we get a fucking line where it's just like, you need a strong woman to do this. It didn't feel that way with this.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, and maybe it's changed. I'm just saying I haven't heard that it's changed, but maybe it has and no one's talking about it. I'm just hoping that it's not that.
That would be the smartest way to do it, right? Is just to kind of change it and not make a big deal about it,
right.
And then you can get away with because here's the thing: Deadpool wasn't anti-woman or anything like that, but it was Deadpool and Wolverine. It was a buddy action flick,
right? But again, you gave up creative control,
right? But that's the only thing that's worked in the last 5 years.
Right, and you're going to give up creative control to the Russo brothers as well.
Right.
But you're not giving up creative control to everything in between.
Right, but here's the thing. I think Fantastic Four has a chance. I think Captain America and Thunderbolts are going to be what they are. Right?
Yeah, and again, you could have those because we had that. The Incredible Hulk was not a great movie.
No.
Thor Dark World was a terrible movie. Iron Man 2 and 3 sucked.
But if Thunderbolts is bad, right? But Captain America is just meh. I think
they'll both be meh.
I think they'll both be meh too. But you won a lot of goodwill with Deadpool.
Sure.
So if it goes awesome, meh, and then Fantastic Four is good, which is the hope, then going into Russo's Secret Wars, you can reignite the flame. If Fantastic Four is bad, though, I don't know how you get people on board with no matter who fucking, bringing Downey back or not.
Right, but you got to remember, too, right? Captain America 4 is 6 months away from Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
Right,
So,
right.
and in between that, you've got Agatha. So
Right,
you
but I don't-
could
but
kill.
here's the thing.
You could kill a lot of your momentum
don't-
before you get to
I don't
Captain
know.
America 4.
The shows don't affect me.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're going to have a lot of people that went to go see Deadpool that aren't going to just come back to Marvel. They just went for that. There was a nostalgia bait that was going to lure people in, and they wanted to see Hugh Jackman again. They wanted to see the cameos. They wanted to see, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman buddy cop on the screen, which they haven't got to see before.
Right.
So a lot of that, came into play here. You can't say that a lot of those people are going to stick around once they've seen this movie. And so if the next thing you give us is Agatha and that drives away still a lot more, or people that might have been willing to give it a chance, and then you get another, piece of shit and they said, nope, right back to regular Marvel, I'm out again.
Well, I think for me,
you could hurt the product very badly.
I have no interest in seeing anything except for Fantastic Four. Like, I don't care about Captain America.
Sure.
I don't care about Thunderbolts. I don't care about Agatha.
Right, but the problem is you're going to have to deal with all those movies to get to Fantastic Four.
Right,
and all
I agree.
the damage that they can cause to get there.
Well, hopefully, and again, there's been reshoots, right? We've had a lot of reshoots, so hopefully, I don't think you can ignore Deadpool. I think if regardless of how you feel about Feige, right? He's not a moron.
No.
So you can't ignore this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It would make no sense to say this was the highest grossing Marvel film in the last 5 years. It's well received. It's got a fucking 8.8. Like, people are into this.
Right.
You can't ignore that.
Well, what is the reason for it?
That it's not like the last 5 years worth of movies.
But what's the true reason?
I think nostalgia is a big one.
Right, but the other big one is
there's no message.
No. But well, yes. Besides that, but the other point, you have an A-list character in Deadpool as Deadpool and an A-list character in Wolverine as Wolverine.
Like, here's the thing.
People care that these characters are the actual characters being portrayed
If they were telling
correctly.
this story and then it was like, oh, and by the way, Lady Deadpool kills Deadpool in the first 5 minutes, and then it's just Lady Deadpool and Wolverine.
Which I was fearful of, to be perfectly honest, when that trailer came out and they showed
she's
her.
In it for like
I was like,
no.
shit. But then
And
obviously, thankfully, it didn't happen.
It was cool to see her.
Sure.
It was rad. It was like, oh, yeah, all right, cool.
Sure.
But,
if you want to show the variants, and she was one of many variants, cool.
But that worked, and showing the Wolverine variants worked because it was fun.
Right.
It was fun because...
But
why was it fun? It was fun because we went back to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right. But they were all actual variants of the actual character. That was Wade Wilson.
Yep.
And that was Logan. Every one of them was a variant of the actual. This wasn't. We didn't get the handoff to an all new, all diverse. And so that's going to matter. And so going forward, yes, if we're getting the Fantastic Four and they are the true Fantastic Four,
sure,
that's going to work because people are going to care. But you have to be true to those characters.
I think the biggest. Like, the biggest mistake with this whole take down the patriarchy thing was you can't get people on board by taking down the patriarchy to install a matriarchy. It's the same fucking thing.
Well,
so if your problem is with the authority, just switching the gender of the authoritarian is not going to get people on board.
Right. And if I'm Kevin Feige, I'm looking across the hall at Star Wars and the absolute utter failure.
It doesn't work.
And I'd be like, I'm not that clearly. It's the biggest mistake you've made. I'm at least in a position to not make it all the way.
I just think that, it feels like No Way Home was very well received. And then Strange was lukewarm. Black Panther 2 was lukewarm.
Yeah. Thor was hated.
Thor was utterly trash. And
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Trash. One of the maybe the worst Marvel film ever.
The Marvels is the worst.
The Marvels, see, the thing is, right, the Marvels to me was just boring.
Yeah, but
Ant-Man and the Wasp was sacrilegious.
yeah, I'm just going by, you know, when you look at dollars as well.
Business-wise, the Marvels is the worst. But having seen them, right, and given the Marvels a fair shake, to me, the Marvels' biggest sin was just that it was boring.
Right.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was fucking terrible.
Yeah, but here,
like what they did with MODOK was fucking insane.
But here again, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 did okay, but it didn't rejuvenate anything.
No, but
people liked it enough.
I think Deadpool is better than Guardians 3.
No, it is.
Right.
I'm not saying that.
No. It'll take something massive. Like, again, I think if you can keep enough goodwill to get you through the next, you know, when's Fantastic Four coming out? The summer?
It's either, I think it's in the fall.
Oh, is it?
Well, Captain America is in
May,
February.
Oh,
and I think the Thunderbolts are probably
summertime, right?
Like the beginning of summer,
and then fall for
probably late summer, early fall for Fantastic Four. I believe.
See, the thing is it's a long ways away.
Right.
That's a long ways away.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff coming out before you get to that.
I mean, maybe you can, you know, if the movies are mediocre, if Captain America and Thunderbolts are mediocre, if they reshoot their end credit scenes and just kind of tie them into sort of the next phase or whatever, maybe.
The thing is, but here's the thing, to be perfectly honest, just like Deadpool and Wolverine, you know, you've had 5 years of utter trash and Deadpool and Wolverine rejuvenated. You can do the same thing, and Doomsday is going to have the same effect that Deadpool and Wolverine is having right now. So,
well, I think it's different because it gives you the opportunity as the company to say, we get it, we're changing the narrative going forward.
Right.
This Avengers is a pillar.
Right, but I just think that movie is going to do what it's going to do regardless of what. You could have no Marvel movies between now and then, and that movie is going to do what it's going to do. Like, I don't think anything that you're going to do. So even if you have nothing but shit, I don't think it's going to affect Doomsday. I think Doomsday is going to be a success regardless.
I mean, you could be right on that. And at the end of the day, Avengers are pillar films, right?
They are. And people are going to see the return of RDJ. People are going to go for that reason alone.
And I don't disagree. But my hope is that, you know, if that's the path you're going, you're bringing the Russos back, who I have faith in. Mm-hmm. You're bringing back the writers, who I have faith in, because Endgame and Infinity War are great movies.
Yeah. Infinity War more so, but...
Sure, it's hard to end a fucking, you know... Yeah. I think it did what it had to do.
Yeah, I mean, again, everybody agrees Endgame wasn't perfect, but Infinity War... Pretty close to perfect.
So the other thing before we move off of Marvel topics is people are complaining about Wolverine and about RDJ coming back, that their deaths mean nothing now, and it's like, no, they still matter. Those were very important variants. Like, that's how you do the multiverse right. You don't lose the fact that, you know, Sacred Timeline, Logan and RDJ sacrificed himself.
Right.
Like, they mattered. Those guys were fucking important.
Right. Again, if these are a different version, just like with Loki. Loki died.
Right. That was a different
Loki
version
now
of
is a different Loki. So again, the death still matters.
Right, because the original one, the one that you got attached to, is gone.
Right. Yeah.
That's how you do the multiverse right. It doesn't cheapen Logan as a film.
No, not at all, because again, it's a totally different version of the character.
I don't know. I mean, I'm like I said, I having watched Peacemaker, right? Seeing the new DC logo, not that it is anything, you know, it's
I
nostalgia.
like that. I like that classic logo.
So do I. But just seeing that kind of stuff, and even seeing sort of the pictures of Superman where he's hugging kids and shit, makes me go, oh, DC is about to have a renaissance right now.
Yeah. And I think that the Creature Commandos looks good as well.
I think DC is fucking...
I think that they're going to start making some noise.
They're keeping Peacemaker, which I think is the right call.
Yeah, just a different version.
Sure, but it's going to be the same fucking thing.
Right.
Which is fine. I'm okay with that.
Right.
I just think that, you know, James Gunn... is a very good fit for, DC.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's rock and roll. If and it's just like, okay, cool. And again, leave Batman the way he is.
Right.
And let Superman be the day to Batman's night.
Right. And I think that James Gunn understands the comics. He understands the lore,
even
the
that
characters.
Penguin show looks good.
Yeah, it does look good.
That's what I'm saying is like, okay, from what I've seen of Superman, which is not a lot, right? It looks like Superman. It looks like how Superman should have been in Snyderverse.
Yep.
Instead of a gritty fucking, everybody has to be the grittiest motherfucker around.
And even the outfit, just
Yeah, everything conveys like a lighter.
Hope.
A lighter-hearted, good guy Superman.
Right, exactly. The Superman, he's going to be reminiscent of Christopher Reeve. There's no doubt in my mind.
Which is
He's
exciting.
going to harken back to that, which to me is exactly what it always should be.
But I just think even him saying at San Diego about the logo and giving credit to Jim Lee, it's just like, okay, this is, as a fan, this is what I want to hear.
Right.
I want to hear that you are not ignoring the past 100 years worth of comics that I have, grown up on and saying, oh, I'm just going to tell my own thing. Even George R.R. Martin came out the other day and was like, never, when someone in Hollywood makes a change to a book, is it better? 999 out of 1,000 times, it's mediocre or worse. And it's just like, yep.
And I'll tell you one more thing before we get off this.
Yeah.
The Hellboy trailer looks really awesome.
Fucking amazing.
Awesome.
Dude, it is so refreshing. Look, here's the thing. Does he look like the perfect Hellboy? No. But it's so refreshing not to do a chosen one.
But Mike Mignola came out and said, this movie is going to be the closest thing to Hellboy that you've ever seen so far.
Because the thing is, right, all they've ever done is chosen arc, the chosen one arc. And that's not what you sign up for Hellboy for. Hellboy is him fighting
the Crooked Man is a perfect choice.
Right.
An absolute perfect choice.
It's not a world-ending threat.
No.
Crooked Man, if he did Baba Yaga, shit like that. Right.
Yeah,
Crooked Man looks amazing.
Oh, it looks so
good. It looks like a horror, which it should.
I am.
It's hitting on every cylinder.
Excited.
Right? It looks like there's going to be a lot of practical effects.
Yeah.
Some CGI just because you get the contortions and everything like that. But just when I saw the pictures, I was lukewarm. When I saw the trailer, I was losing my mind.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Now, have you seen the Nosferatu trailer?
I don't think I have.
So they dropped that too.
Did they? Yeah. That's going to be
Do we
tremendous.
know? Is it this year, Hellboy?
Yeah. Hellboy?
They haven't given us a date yet.
No. I think it's next year.
It's still, it is such a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I don't know about what they're doing with Spawn, King Spawn or whatever.
Again, we were Remember, we were talking about this
Sam,
7 years ago.
We were talking about Sam and Twitch.
Right, but this was 7 years ago. We were talking about this movie when McFarlane was talking about it and brought up.
It's just going to be a fucking. He's like, oh, I'm going to self-finance it, and it was like, no, you're not.
It's like we're almost 8 years later, and we still don't have anything close to this movie yet. So we'll see if that one ever gets made.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Listen, I would love a Spawn movie, but
yeah.
And with that, let's put this one to bed. Jim, as always.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
Saw your Muppets.
Yeah.
Doing some Muppets.
Yeah, the little parody,
Yeah,
not picking sides politically. I'm just making some parody, folks.
Yep.
So if anybody goes on the socials, it's all in good fun.
Yeah, just to be clear, the Muppets are pretty agnostic when it comes to political parties.
Exactly.
What else do you got going on?
Just making sure we're still pumping out the art, just getting it out there every week. Getting we got a monthly comic strip that comes out. Going to start working soon on chapter 3 of the comic Eva.
Woo.
So hopefully that comes out by the end of the year. So a lot of artwork. So just stay on top of the socials, and I'll keep everybody up to date.
All right, guys, so that's episode 102 of The Corner. You know where we're at. Catalyst Crafting is the main website. Catalyst Creations NH is the Etsy store. We'll be at WickedCon next week, the 10th and the 11th. We'll be at Granite Con at the end of September and Northeast Comic Con in November. But what do you guys think? I mean, have you seen Abigail or Longlegs? What are your thoughts? Did you watch Deadpool or Peacemaker? Do you think Deadpool is Marvel Jesus? Are you excited about Robert Downey Jr. becoming Doctor Doom? Do you think that San Diego Comic-Con was exciting? Let us know in the comments. All right, crew. We'll catch you on the next one.